Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Level check, level check. I'm about to go live on both Facebook and YouTube. Looks like both are working. According to this, it says they're working, so we'll see how that works out. So, hi everyone, I'm meteorologist Steve Horstmeyer. I'm still putting on my microphone here behind the scenes. This is the 7:15 live weather show. We are live, and this is available not only on Facebook and YouTube, but it is also available on the Fox 19 First Alert Weather app, the news app. It's available on our website. You can get it on Roku TV as long as I push the correct buttons, which I'm doing right now. You can get it on Apple TV, the older kind, the kind that's not built into a TV, but the Apple TV with the little black box. And let's see, I forgot something, but those are the areas where you can typically get a hold of the First Alert streaming center's broadcast. We have those available both, Monday through Friday at noon, Monday through Friday at 7:15, and then Saturday at 11, along with Sunday at 11 a.m., Saturday and Sunday at 6 p.m. also. So, hi there, I'm Steve Horstmeyer, running just a little bit late here. Took a little extra time to push some buttons. I'm not sure what was going on, but take a look at the camera shot behind me. It's 80 degrees right now. That's the warmest it's been all day. Now, that's the official temperature for this region at CVG, the International Airport. You can see a few puffy cumulus clouds, a nice blue sky without that kind of whitish cast that you often get when the humidity is very high. And so it's a very, very nice evening around the tri-state. As a matter of fact, if you go out, it's going to be a nice evening without a doubt, right on into the late evening hours. We don't really have any risk of anything coming our way. Here's from South Fairmont, our tower cam look at downtown Cincinnati. Same thing, nice blue sky, puffy cumulus clouds. And it'll take a second for this one to connect. Sometimes they don't connect right away. We figured out what the bug is. It's not ours, it's in the software, and the new version of the software, which is due out any time, is going to fix that. And now we're looking at downtown Cincinnati with the setting sun kind of creating a glare there on the river. High temperatures today look like this. Now, this is still based on preliminary data until after 8 p.m. when the final data comes in at 7 p.m. in Standard Time, 8 p.m. Daylight Saving Time. But at CVG, 81, same thing at Lunken, and Falmouth, and Maysville, and Wilmington, and Springboro, and Chillicothe, and Oxford, all at 81 degrees. 83 in Batavia and Shelbyville for the hot spots. I didn't see anything hotter than that. With the lower humidity, though, and with a bit of a breeze, it was very, very nice. Currently, the temperatures look like this. Still not far from what the high temperature is, and so you are in for a very nice evening. If you're going out somewhere, or if you're just going to sit on the porch and take a look at the setting sun, it should be a nice evening to do that because the winds have settled down. Notice the highest wind gust now, 29 in Springboro, 25 at CVG. All the other places like Batesville, Falmouth, Maysville, they're reporting no wind gust whatsoever. So the winds are dying down and no longer a problem, and our first alert weather day has ended. Showers pushing off to the south and east and dying out. You see them there. Now, they did get the ground wet at Great American Ballpark. It wasn't during the game by any stretch of the imagination, but it's set up and it wasn't a problem. So we're going to have clear to partly cloudy skies overnight, more clear than anything, and a nice, pleasant night ahead of us. So if you're going out this evening, temperatures will drop off by 11 o'clock into the low and mid, some spots upper 60s. Pleasant evening out there without oppressive humidity. And then overnight, we're looking at temperatures finally dropping down into the low and mid 60s, so not much different than the evening hours. Then you see a few showers popping up. Now, this is noontime, so as you get into the hottest part of the day, you see scattered showers in the air, maybe a few thunderstorms. Nothing really heavy, but that's just part of what's left of the remnants of Beryl as Beryl now continues to move off to the north and east. So sunset today, 9:06, 80 out there right now. We are going to see temperatures drop to 69 by 11 p.m. Still a bit of a breeze out of the northwest. We're looking at a low temperature overnight of 64 degrees. That'll be 5, 6, 7, maybe even 8 a.m. So as you head out the door for the morning commute, looks like a lot of clear skies, so maybe some sun glare out there, and sunrise at 6:21. Roads will be dry, partly cloudy to clear, and temperatures in the low to mid 60s with patches of sun glare. Overnight low again, 64. The high tomorrow, 86. That'll be right around 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So here's the 6 to 10 day outlook from the Climate Prediction Center. They've got a little area up over the Great Lakes of cooler than normal weather. We stay warmer than normal, a little cooler in the southwest. We'll be near normal according to their forecast from the 18th to the 24th, and then from the 13th to the 26th. Now this will be updated on Friday. This is the one that's only put out once a week. Still warmer than normal from coast to coast. From the 16th to the 20th of July, slightly wetter than normal. But with warmer than normal weather, it's not going to do us much good, especially since we've already got a pretty big deficit. July 24th, up to July 24th, slightly wetter than normal, and about the same to the 26th. Now, the drought monitor comes out tomorrow, and we'll have to see how we've changed around the tri-state. Okay, so your 7-day forecast is looking like this. Low tonight, 64, high tomorrow, 86. 66 and 89 for Friday, and sunny. We do have that chance for a shower tomorrow. Friday and Saturday both look dry with a high of 90 on Sunday. Still, the humidity not bad. We're talking about a high of 91 on Sunday with a small chance for pop-up shower. So basically a dry weekend ahead. Monday dry, and then the chance for shower popping up Tuesday and again on Wednesday. Now, if you happen to be going down to Great American Ballpark on Friday for Fireworks Friday, here's what the weather looks like down at GABP. They're playing the Marlins. 80 degrees, nice and dry as the game begins, 69 as the game ends and the fireworks begin. So it looks like a good evening for fireworks down at Great American Ballpark. The rest of your 7-day then, we've got high temperatures in the 90s for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. The humidity begins to build Tuesday and Wednesday, and that creates hit and miss pop-up showers and thunderstorms. And beyond the 7-day forecast, we're looking at a few showers Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, the 18th, 19th, and 20th. As we head from the 21st to the 24th, probably not much in the way of rain, with high temperatures building back into the 90s once again. And here's a summary graphic of what we've got coming our way for the next 14 days. The normal high is that line. Normal low is also the line. You can see that most of the time we're above normal, both on the high side and the low side. So it looks like warmer than normal weather as we head toward the 24th of the month. Give me a second here to take a quick drink to wet my throat. And of course, as always, Diet Mountain Dew. I've been drinking Mountain Dew since it first came out, and when they went to diet, I did that too. So. Okay, so that takes care of the forecast. Excuse me. What I do now is I change cameras. I go over to camera 1, and that way I can look directly this way without having to contort myself. And we'll take a look at what's going on as far as Facebook comments go. And it says no comments yet. Okay, so last night we had to cut this short. Now I'm wondering, let's see. It says it's going out. It says it's live. And typically we get at least one comment. So, wonder if there's a problem, because not that I'm begging for anybody to comment, but I'm just wondering if it's not showing up when we go out. Let me take a look. Okay, while I'm looking at this, I'm going to. Oh, there we go. Okay, I was just going to look on my phone to see if it's open. So Roxy Blevins Duke says hi, and Rachel Turco says hi. We're here. Okay, everybody's just kind of quiet now. Last night was one of those nights. Now, if you happen to be watching last night, we had tornado warnings in the area, and it was one of those circumstances. It was myself and meteorologist Ashley Smith, and we were watching the storms. We saw some rotation, and these are the kind of storms that they build up that rotation very quickly. And so I decided to go ahead and do the streaming show here. Ashley was out there, and I was mic'd up and all set up to go here. And it would have taken too much time for me to stop going here and go out there. So Ashley took care of on air in the Reds while I took care of the streaming center, and then we both took care of it after the streaming show was over. And I didn't get time to answer anybody's questions or comments just because we had to go out there and handle the tornado warnings. Luckily, nothing touched down, and I'm going to say they were good warnings. Okay, now you might say, wait a minute, the Weather Service put out a warning for a tornado, It didn't touch down. We have no tornadoes reported, so it's a good warning. Yeah, because the weakest part of warning people about tornadoes is when the tornado is formed. In other words, when we go from a rotating thunderstorm, rotating supercell thunderstorm, to a tornado literally touching down, the weakest bit of knowledge we have is what makes that transition. In other words, we know that the thunderstorm begins to rotate. Almost all the rotation is imported into the storm by wind shear. So in other words, winds are going at different directions and different velocities, and so that makes it look like the wind, that makes the wind kind of rotate. That gets pulled into the thunderstorm, it gets tilted up by the updraft, and then, okay, so now we've got rotation going like this. So typically, as the winds blow, it causes rotation that's horizontal. Okay, that rotation that's horizontal gets tilted up into the thunderstorm updraft, so now it's rotating like this, and then it gets stretched by the updraft. And that's where the ice skater comes in. Just like an ice skater at the end of his or her routine, they have their arms out and they're going around, and then they drop the arms and the spin rate increases. That's almost exactly what happens in a tornado. And that's called conservation of angular momentum. So we know how the thunderstorms begin to rotate. We know the process that causes the rotation to increase and become tornadic. What we don't know is that link. In other words, what sets off one tornado with a bunch of rotation, one thunderstorm with a bunch of rotation that drops a tornado, with another from another thunderstorm that has the same rotation that doesn't drop a tornado. So that's the weak link. And so the weak link is actually the transition from a rotating thunderstorm to dropping a tornado. And so what we can do now with Doppler radar lets you see inside the storm. In other words, what happens is literally it sends out probably 1,000 pulses a second. Okay, so it's not a constant beam, it's a kind of a pulsing beam that is sent out. And so what happens, the radar speaks and then listens. Okay, so in other words, it sends out a pulse, and remember, it's traveling at the speed of light. It travels at 186,000 miles a second in a vacuum, just slightly slower in the air. So what it does is it sends out a pulse, and it waits to hear for it bouncing back. Okay, if it doesn't bounce back, nothing's out there. If it bounces back, you know how far away it is, because you know how fast the speed of light is, and electromagnetic radiation, like radio waves, travel at the speed of light. So you know the distance, and you know how much of that signal bounces back to you. In other words, if you send out 100 units, this is just an arbitrary number, if you send out 100 units and only 3 units of that electromagnetic radiation comes back, pretty weak. If you send out 100 units and 90 come back, well, then you know it's a much stronger signal, and they've got very complicated mathematical formulas to help them figure all that out. So in Doppler radar, what it can do, since it sends out those, remember, it's sending out 1,000 of these a second or more. So it sends out, it speaks, it listens, speaks, it listens, but because we send out so many pulses, as one of those pulses goes out and bounces off, let's say a raindrop or a series of raindrops, and then comes back, the next pulse goes out, and the distance may have changed. And if the distance gets greater, you know it's moving away from you. If the distance gets less, you know it's moving towards you. And so Doppler radar is very sophisticated, and it gives us great insight into what's going on. So originally it was just a single, we have dual polarization now. It was either a horizontal, in other words, everybody's seen the wave that electromagnetic radiation is. So if you had a single wave going out there, but now they've got them in the vertical and the horizontal planes, and you can tell a lot more information. For example, if you look at a hailstone or a series of hailstones in the atmosphere, they're pretty round, and they typically have the same dimensions in the horizontal as they do in the vertical, and you can see those. If you're looking at something, if you just see a big jumble of all different kinds of shapes and sizes, you pretty much know it's debris. And so the dual polarization, where we have a horizontal signal, we have a vertical signal, when they have both of those put together, they can figure out what we call debris detection. Okay, so Doppler, now this is a long, long way, and here I go again, getting way carried away. But so I was saying that, you know, I called them successful warnings or good warnings, even though a tornado didn't touch down and they didn't verify. But the idea here is that the game is different than it used to be. When I first started in this business, typically a warning wasn't issued until a funnel cloud was sighted or there was a touchdown. And for the first people involved with that touchdown, the tornado warning is too late. I mean, if you have to wait till it touches down and you see it, the first people that encounter it, it's tough luck for them. So the idea here now is that, yeah, we know there'll be some false alarms, more false alarms than before when you had to wait to see it, but it's a much better idea to let people know that there's something in the air. A tornado could touch down very quickly so that they can take cover now, then wait until a tornado's on the ground, and some people have already been affected or injured or killed. So what we used to do, we used to measure a tornado warning based on whether it was valid or not. Okay, and again, nowadays, because we warn before the tornado forms in many cases, okay, we just have a rotating thunderstorm. It may or may not spin up to drop a tornado. There's going to be more false alarms. However, and the problem there is that link. In other words, we just don't have a really good idea of why some rotating thunderstorms drop tornadoes and other rotating thunderstorms that may be rotating even faster don't drop tornadoes. And once they learn that, it'll be a lot better. But overall, I think it was 5 different warnings that were put out by the National Weather Service and maybe a couple more that extended those warnings. So they all had rotation in them. They all potentially could have dropped a tornado, and they warned on all of them before that happened. So the idea is that even though we're going to get more false alarms because we warn before the tornado forms, we actually keep people safer because they know about it more. Nothing really sneaks through anymore. It's very, very rare for a tornado to go unwarned in the United States nowadays. Okay, so let me get to some of these comments. All righty. So Roxy Blevins Duke said hi. Rachel Turco said, hey, we're here. That's when I said, oh, there are no comments yet. Hi to Heather Dempsey. Jeff Harvey. Get Diet Mountain Dew back at Skyline Chili. I love Diet Mountain Dew and a good 5-way. Paula Sampson Robinson. She says, hi, she's watching in Newport Richey, Florida. Well, I hope everything's good down that way. And I'm sure in the middle of winter, it's better down that way if you don't like winter weather. Okay, Roxy Blevins Duke says, was there a tornado in Napoleon? According to the National Weather Service, through just a few minutes ago, no tornadoes touched down. There might have been some storm damage from wind gusts. They have gotten no damage reports or no reports of sightings or anything like that. And so probably not. Any storm damage was probably due to straight line winds. But, I mean, after a few more days, we'll know for sure because there's still some data or some information that can come in. Okay, so Ricky Wallace says, hey, it's been a while since he's watching. Now he's back. Well, welcome back, Ricky. Thanks for watching again. And then Rachel Turco wants to know my thoughts on weather on the 7-day coming up. Okay, let's go back over to the 7-day forecast, and we can talk about it in a little bit more detail. I don't see any outbreaks of severe weather at this point. Now, of course, when you get to like day 7, that things do change quite often. So let's load the 7-day forecast. And as soon as it loads, I will give it to you full screen. It's loading now. There we go. And so here's your 7-day. We are talking about tonight's low 64, high tomorrow 86 with an isolated storm. And sometimes I would rather just say an isolated shower or thunderstorm, but it's not like isolated big storms. Those aren't in the forecast. So tomorrow, just a few hit and miss showers, maybe a light thunderstorm. Mostly sunny on Friday, so no severe weather then. Mostly sunny Saturday, no severe weather. And then a small chance of a pop-up shower or thunderstorm on Sunday, so probably no severe weather then or Monday. And then Tuesday and Wednesday, we begin to see the humidity build back up. And we see a better chance of getting a stronger storm or two. So right now, it looks like no major systems kicking up severe weather in the next 7 days, but we'll say we'll have to watch Tuesday and Wednesday. With that humidity increasing, we may very well end up with a better chance of a strong to severe thunderstorm around the area. And then when we go into beyond the 7-day, I think we've got 3 days there, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, when we've got some rain, and probably not either. So we're not looking at a lot of severe weather at the present time. But one thing you learn about forecasting the weather, the farther you get from now, so the farther out you go from now, the greater the chance of getting a big change in the forecast. And so again, here's that 7-day forecast. So right now, we're not thinking about much in the way of severe activity over the next 7 days. All right, let's see what else we have here. That was Rachel Turco. Katie Lynn Martinez says, hi, Steve. Hi, Katie. How are you? Margie Woody says, hey, Steve, glad you're getting a break. Yeah, we're all getting a break from the severe weather. That's pretty nice. Last night was just crazy, and it's great to have a coworker like Ashley Smith who stepped up to the plate. She was taking care of the Reds and the broadcasting part of it on Fox 19 now, and I was taking care of the streaming center for a while, and then we got to work together out there. But I tell you what, it was a pretty hectic night around the tri-state. And then when we thought everything was over, about 11:10, they issued another tornado warning for the western part of Butler County. They warned it as the storm was just about over Riley in the western part of Butler County, and it moved to the northeast, stayed east of Oxford, and died out very quickly. So it never was a tornado, but there was certainly enough rotation for that to happen. Okay. Let me see what we've got here. I tell you what, let me go back. I'm going to, for any of you that may have come in late, I'll go back and review what we have from the Climate Prediction Center. And again, remember, we've had some rain lately. I mean, at my house, just based on radar estimates, in the last week, we've had over 2 inches of rain. Yesterday morning, we had an inch, 1.02 inches in 26 minutes. I mean, it came down like crazy. And today, nothing, so that's okay. But the drought monitor comes out tomorrow, and we're going to have to see what it looks like. Okay, last week, the drought monitor, and you know what, before we get to this, let's talk about that. Because the drought monitor comes out tomorrow, so we'll be able to see what the change is. Now, I just have to find it. And I've got to take my glasses off. Again, I still need a new prescription. So what we'll do here, as soon as I find the drought monitor, maybe I can just search. It's easier just to search for it, I guess. All right, there is this the one? Yeah, here it is right here. So the drought monitor from last Thursday. This came out last Thursday. It comes out once a week. It's done in Lincoln, Nebraska, at the University of Nebraska there, where I went to school. And if you look at the drought monitor here, there we go, and I'll just go to the zoomed in part of it. You can see that the yellow is abnormally dry, okay, and I guess it's better to see it full screen. That pinkish color is a moderate drought, and so except for parts of, and see, I don't think I've been watching this, and I just don't think they're getting good data here, because they don't have it very dry in most of Highland, Adams, and Lewis counties. But Ethan Emery's dad lives up there where it's just no color at all in southern Highland County, and his pond is drying out. We've had a number of people on this show report that Adams County is tinder dry and needs some rainfall, and I know Lewis County is too. So that area where there's no shading, they say is kind of near normal. I just don't buy it. I think there's some bad data going on here, because that part, the southeastern part of our viewing area and a good portion of eastern Kentucky, is the amount of dryness has really been underrated. So we'll have to see what they do tomorrow. And again, the drought monitor here, this is the area right here of moderate drought. It extends from Decatur and Ripley counties across Franklin, all of Dearborn, all of Ohio, northern Boone, and then on up this way. But this area, now, I know people from Adams County that have been watching this show and have commented on Facebook have said how dry it is out here, and I know for a fact right there in Berrysville it's very dry. So I think this last week's drought monitor still has some issues with getting enough data. I just don't buy the fact it just doesn't fit with what we see and what people have been telling me. So we'll have to see what it does tomorrow. Tomorrow's Thursday. It's issued on Thursday, and we'll have it for you during the 7:15 show. And then, of course, I will update all the other projections, the forecast of how much water we're going to need for the next 4 weeks, and the forecast of precipitation, so we can see where we're heading as we get toward the end of the growing season and into fall. Okay, so sorry, I had to check a notice there. So now we are abnormally dry still, and let me tell you, I was amazed. Like I said, my house has gotten over about 2.5 inches of rain in 10 days. But it is still dry. I mean, the places where it came down and soaked in, it is dry. I mean, it's unbelievable that we've been so dry. And we'll take a look tomorrow. We'll take a detailed look at the drought monitor, what the forecast have as far as rainfall and drought goes, as we head through the month of July into the middle of August. Okay, now let's go see what the Climate Prediction Center is saying. All right, keep going, keep going, keep going. Okay, here we go. So this is the days 6 to 10. So today is day 1. So tomorrow is day 2, and day 6 is the 16th of July. So you can see, if we look at it full screen, that the Great Lakes area cooler than normal, the Southwest cooler than normal, everybody else, including us, warmer than normal, and that is through the 20th of July. Now, the Climate Prediction Center's second forecast here overlaps a little bit. They do that on purpose. So when we look at July 18th to the 24th, we go to near normal, and the rest of the country's warmer than normal. And that kind of fits with what we've seen and what our forecast is. And this is the graphic that is produced every Friday, so it'll be updated on Friday. It's for weeks 3 to 4, so it goes out to the 26th of July, this one. It'll go out 7 more days. So let's see, 31, 5. It'll go into the 2nd of August, it looks like, when it comes out on Friday. So we'll be able to talk about the rest of the month of July and the beginning of August tomorrow. Okay, how about precipitation? Slightly wetter than normal through the 20th. Slightly wetter than normal for us through the 24th. And then this one, the one that will be updated on Friday, still says slightly wetter than normal to near normal around the tri-state. And again, the point I've been trying to make over the past few weeks here is that with warmer than normal weather, we need more than normal rainfall. And we've already built quite a deficit. I mean, and I can check that for you right now. Just for the month of July, I'll get there in a second. For some reason, it doesn't like Face ID under some lighting conditions. But if we take a look at what the Weather Service says, okay, from the Wilmington Weather Service, and this is today's climate summary, or today's daily climate summary. So far in the month of July, now some spots have gotten more precipitation than that at the International Airport, but so far in the month of July, let's see, month to date, we are above normal, about 3.36 above normal in the month of July. But since June 1st, since June 1, we are. Boy, I'm having trouble reading this for some reason. Since June 1st, we're 6.03 inches below normal. Okay, so we've had a little bit of rain lately. So when you're that much below normal, it takes more than 2 inches in 10 days to really make up for it. And since January 1st, even though we had that really wet period there in the spring, we're still 2.3 inches below normal for the year. So it's very dry out there, and I don't think the drought monitor has been picking up on that much. So here's your 7-day forecast one more time. 64 and 86 Thursday, 66 and 89 Friday. Now Friday is a fireworks Friday down at Great American Ballpark. Hey, let me tell you a little secret. They launched those fireworks from a barge in the river. So if you don't want to go to the game, or if the game is sold out and you can't get in, you can always go down to the riverfront and you can watch the fireworks for free. So it looks like for the game, 80 degrees as the game begins, 69 when the game ends, and the fireworks begin. So it looks like a pleasant evening for the fireworks. Saturday looks dry, chance of a pop-up shower Sunday, dry Monday, chance of a shower or thunderstorm Tuesday and Wednesday, and we make it there back into the 90s. And again, we have a stretch of days in the 80s with the chance of rain each day. And then we go back into the 90s, and as we head on into our final graphic here, you can see that high temperatures stay at or above normal most of the time. Same thing with low temperatures. So if you would take an average of all these highs and lows, it's going to end up a couple degrees warmer than normal. Okay, let me take one more check here, see if there's any more questions or comments on Facebook. Let's see. And then Katie Lynn Martinez says, okay, we're doing good. Been watching. She's been watching me since she was a kid. Oh, Katie, there's good and bad in that. It just sometimes you just feel old. But you know what? Again, if you've been watching, you've heard me say this a lot. And you know when you're a teenager, most teenagers look at their parents and think, oh, they don't know anything. Oh my gosh, why they tell me that? And then when you get to my age, you look back and you start quoting what your dad or mom said. And so my dad, when somebody say, "Oh, Jim, you look old today," and he goes, "Oh, looking old beats the alternatives." Or any day that I'm not staring up at dirt when I wake up in the morning is a good day. So that was my dad's kind of humor. So all right, so let's see here. Hi to Remo Williams and to Bob McIlvain. All right. Katie Lynn Martinez says, yeah, I'm a mom now and tell my kids all the time that I'm turning into my dad. Yeah, you got it. Hey, Chris Lower. I wonder if you're the same Chris Lower that's the photographer. If you are, thanks, Chris. Yeah, I know. It's like you see those commercials about people turning into their parents. And another thing my dad used to tell me is that, and he was looking at me, he'd say, the older I get, okay, so he was saying, Steve, the older you get, the smarter I get. And it's like, what does that mean? Well, now I know. It's like I'm a teenager. I don't think my dad knows anything. And the older I get, the more I realize that, yeah, he did know a lot of stuff. All right, that's it. Thank you guys for joining me. I will be back tomorrow at 7:15 as I promised. The drought monitor comes out tomorrow, so we'll look at the drought status around the tri-state. We'll look at the forecast out for the amount of rain we're going to need and the amount of rain that we should get in the next 4 weeks, and we'll look at that in detail. So, okay, and Rick Rice said, watching from Port Charlotte, Florida. He watched me a lot when he lived in Mason and Kenwood. Well, hey, I hope you're loving Florida, Rick, and thanks for watching. Okay. And Belinda Kane Watson says hello. So good night, everybody. Thank you for joining me. Back tomorrow at 7:15.